Well, hey there. Long time no see. And speaking of that, let me just say that I have a lot of things that are going on right now and some challenges that are taking a huge toll on my time and energy. So that's why I haven't been able to produce much content lately. But I do see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm not sure yet, but I don't think it's a train. So thanks for hanging in there with me. And that's it. All right, so on with it. When I did my first look review of the CANIK SFx RIVAL-S, there were several comments that said they'd like to see it compared to the TSO, some other similar things. And likewise, when I compared the non-steel version to the TS2, there were several who requested that it would be more appropriate for the steel frame. So to try and meet both of those, I took the CANIK RIVAL-S to the range along with the CZ TSO for a little fun comparison. Other than making sure both were cleaned and lubed, I didn't do anything special with them. Okay, now for the torture test. And no, I don't mean throwing the guns in mud and stomping on them and have elephants walk on them or showing them pictures of ugly women or any of that kind of stuff. I mean a genuine torture test. This is the kind of torture test that you may encounter when you're using a competition handgun or, just your regular plinking handgun or self-defense handgun. And that is feeding it the worst possible ammunition. But, ammunition that you can buy off the shelf. And for me, the absolute worst possible ammo that you can buy is Winchester steel case. Have you guys tried this stuff? I say tried because that's about all you can do is try. Winchester steel-cased ammo in 9mm is the worst. I would pick reloads out of the trash and shoot them before I would buy this stuff again. I think I'm making my point. So, I've got a magazine for each gun loaded with 10 rounds of this garbage because I'm trying to get rid of it if I can. I keep trying to get rid of it and nothing will shoot it. And I really mean that, man. It's that bad. So here we go. First up, the CZ TSO. And see if it can process this stuff. Well, we got 4. We got 4 rounds. That's not bad. You guys, you have to know. You have to know this stuff. So we had a misfeed after 4. I'm going to stick that one back in. Try it again. Ugh. I don't think it wants to feed that round, does it? All right. Well, I might have to bail on that particular round. I don't really see anything wrong with it. I mean, I see everything wrong with it, but I don't see anything unique about it. Let's put it that way. This stuff is, the reason I say it's so god-awful is it's steel-cased ammo with absolutely no lubrication on the case. I mean, the worst stuff you can buy from Russia has, at least good lube on it. All right. It doesn't want to feed well because, again, there's no lube on the case. So it just galls. Yeah, then we got another one that didn't feed all the way. Maybe that'll do it. Okay. So it looks like I'm having to push it home a little bit for a lot of these. Now, part of that is, there is that dampening system in the TSO for the recoil, and that doesn't help. I'm going to load this last one more time to try. Use a slingshot method, if I can. All right, I think I have it loaded. There we go. So with a little extra effort, we finally got all 10 rounds through the TSO. Now the same through the CANIK. The reason I'm doing this is not because it's a better gun if it can shoot crappy ammo, but it's important to know which gun is more forgiving of crappy ammo, especially when you're looking at competition pistols, because 9 out of 10 competition shooters, unless you're sponsored by somebody big, you're shooting reloads. Most of the time you're shooting hand load ammo that you have loaded yourself, and you know, the tolerances are not the same, are they? So whichever gun handles that best or can be more forgiving may be the better one, but that's up to you to decide, because typically that also means looser tolerances in the gun itself. Okay, so there you see the CANIK ran all 10 with no problems, which is unusual for that ammo. So that tells me CANIK probably has some looser tolerances in some certain key areas. Both guns, and also just to say, I lubed both guns before I did this test, so they both had fresh oil on the rails, and there's no reason why, you know, either one should have been sluggish in that area. Again, the TSO does have that dampening system in the recoil. It's got that buffer in there, so that can have an impact on that. Okay, combination of accuracy and just perception. 10 rounds from each gun into that target downrange, which is 12 yards downrange. So for handgun, 12 yards, medium distance. All right, there's 2 orange dots on that target. I've got them marked, so you can see my intention is to put all the rounds from the CZ into the one on the left and the ones on the right for the CANIK. So I'm going to start with the CZ. I'm shooting Federal ammo, Federal 115 grain ball. And I'm going to shoot a slow 10 rounds, see how I do accuracy-wise, because again, you know, I could rest them on a good rest, but I want to evaluate them based on how well I shoot them. So that's the purpose for that. All right, here we go, CZ. The trigger is just feather light. The gun is heavy, but very well balanced. I love the sights. It just, you know, that dampening on the recoil is a little odd sometimes. And you can adjust that. You can even remove that dampener. But man, this is a tack driver. It really is a tack driver, and it feels so good in the hand. You know, you got the gas pedal for your thumb, all that good stuff. This is top of the line production competition right here. And it performs like it. So on to the contender, the CANIK. CANIK SFx RIVAL-S, S for steel frame. So with the exception of a little bit of a polymer clamshell on the grip panel, this is all steel frame. Uh-oh, my watch just told me I'm in a loud environment. Whatever shall I do? Okay, here we go. Going to the right. Also very nice sights, not as tall as the rear sight on the CANIK. But the front sight is very, very similar, almost identical looking. trigger obviously is not as light, but it is super crisp. But you can feel the difference. I mean, it's not quite as smooth. CANIK is a little lighter, but also very well balanced. Nice ergonomics here too, not quite like the CZ, but I don't mind how it feels at all. Quite comfortable in the hand. And it is also tack driver. I think in a lot of ways, probably it's going to come down to budget and maybe some other preferences that I'll talk about. So back in the day, in what feels like a previous lifetime, you guys know I'm a photographer, right? Well, those of you who don't know, I'm a photographer. Have been one for years and years in different capacities and facets and things like that. Well, way back in the day, I used to do a lot of rock concerts and things like that. So once upon a time, I found myself backstage with Leonard Skinner before their concert at the request of their road manager for some photo stuff. And I have a nice picture that I'll throw up here just to share with you for fun. In honor and memory of the late great Gary Rossington, who recently passed, and he's featured predominantly in this particular photo. He's kind of flicking a cigarette. He didn't want to have his picture taken with a cigarette in his hand, and it looks like he's levitating it by pointing at it. So I found it amusing. Anyway, okay, so I told you that story, which is a little bit self-serving, seemingly, and certainly a name-dropping type story. But the reason I told you that story was so that I could segue into a question that was made famous by Leonard Skinner some time back when they asked, "What song is it you want to hear?" What's that? You want to hear the song of my people? All right. I can play it for you. Well, I can play that song for you right now. It's got a nice ring to it, don't you think? Okay, there you go. I had fun comparing these two guns. I mean, who wouldn't? What I learned is that they're both incredible options for competition or just about any other purpose. The CZ TSO is more expensive, but you do see and feel that value when you shoot it and handle it. But the CANIK is certainly no slouch, and it seems every bit as much a tack driver. It might also be more forgiving of a mix of ammo, as we saw with that bad Winchester stuff at the range. I hope this video was informative, if this comparison is one you wondered about. Mostly, I hope it was fun. I had fun making it, and I hope it was fun to watch too. As always, my thanks to my Patreon supporters, especially the ones who have stuck with me for so long. And now you see why I set it up so that if I don't make content, you don't get charged. This is just an opinion, and I'll see you again soon.